Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster and happy Halloween. Now before the what if begins, a quick recap. So far, Ochako has become a vampire and Izuku is a full-on hybrid from the series Underworld. As well as Ochako experiencing the realization that she's not exactly human, well not human anymore. So it took her a little bit for it to sink in really. But either way, we're caught up to the current part of the what if, so before anything else, hit it. Now then, we are currently in the part of the series where Aizawa tells them that they have to pick a class rep. Now then, unlike in canon, some people are a little afraid of Izuku for a number of reasons, one of which the bone snapping and reformation sounds whenever he transforms. Plus, he looks freaking scary when he transforms. So, there is that. So, they do respect his strength and such, and his ability to fight, though they just find him kind of terrifying in other ways, especially their instincts telling them to run whenever he transforms. So, yeah. So in this canon, we have Momo as class rep and Ida as vice rep. Due to the voting process that they settled down on after arguing about how to pick. After that, they went to lunch remarking about how they got harassed this morning by the press trying to interrogate them about All Might going to the school. As Ida remarks that it's mostly because he's the #1 hero and we're his students. Of course, we're going to be interrogated by media. Not to mention, once we do become pro heroes, we'll eventually have to do things like uh, interact with media every now and then regularly. As Izuku sighs, eating his meal, which is pretty much a rare steak. Izuku's current bodily state just requires him to eat some meat that has some blood in it, so rare steak goes. As for Choco, she's being supplied with blood packs, though to eat them in public, they're disguised as tomato juice packs, and she got a couple of them carried around with her, with some of her classmates asking if she really is eating all that, only that and such. El Chaco states that it's fine, which is when the alarm goes off. So, as the upperclassmen tell him what the alarm is for, and they try to run out and everything, Izuku sees that it's just the media. So, he uses his strength to jump up, digging his hands into the wall. As he jumps again to dig his hands into the wall near the exit sign, telling them to calm down and that it's just the media and all that. After everything calmed down, Izuku was congratulated for keeping the students calm, but reprimanded for putting holes in the school walls. As we go to the League of Villains scene, where Shigaraki states that they got the information they need for the attack. As in the corner, there's a cloaked man with a mask, revealing part of his face to have a scar and a prosthetic eye, stating, "Good. Hey, Doc, the little experiment you've been doing, and you asked me to help out with. How did that go? The doctor, who is talking through the screen with sound only, states that although the initial beginning of this experiment was somewhat hesitant, in my opinion, it is a good thing you told me in advance so I could properly restrain him. As this man smirked, saying, "Good. That that odd guy did put a good number of scars on me, but after I took care of him, I did come out of it with something real good." As all for one stated yes, and it's because of this uniqueness about you that I searched for you most thoroughly, and it seems to have paid off quite well. As Shigaraki smirks, stating, "So, we know when to strike and where," as we just see a creepy smirk on him. We fast forward to the day when they head to the USJ as they go on the bus. Tsuyu remarks that uh, Todoroki has a good quirk as well as Bakugo, but Denki remarks that he probably won't be so popular considering his bad attitude. As Sue then states that Izuku's power reminds her of All Might's, though then Mineta nervously chimes in stating that, yeah, well, All Might's quirk doesn't cause his bones to make a snapping sound and all that. Honestly, that's kind of scary. With Kirishima stating, yeah, the transformation you go through can be kind of scary, but it's also awesome and manly as hell. With Izuku nervously laughing, Hana Chako also being nervous, considering that she's now half of what Izuku is, in the terms that she's a vampire and Izuku's a hybrid of vampire and lichen. Wondering if there's anything else that she doesn't know about this power that could come handy in the future and such. So, as they go into the USJ, they meet up with 13, who describes the purpose of the USJ to help train heroes for rescue missions in disaster areas and such. This, of course, is stopped by when the League of Villains shows up, revealing a horde of low-level villains, Shigaraki, Nomu, and Kurogiri. As we see Aizawa tell them to hurry up and leave. Izuku states that he could help, but Aizawa refused, telling him to leave, as he jumps down the stairs, beginning the fight with the villains, and tearing them up pretty good. As we go over to where Kurogiri gets in their way, obviously, Hiroshima and Bakugo go full throttle against the him getting in the way of 13, which gives him the opportunity to send them all across the USJ. Well, at least some of them. Chaco was able to get away, but Deku ended up getting sucked into the shipwreck zone and was grabbed by Tsuyu, as he was being attacked by somebody who seems to have a shark quirk. As they got on the boat, they thought about what to do now. So they do the same as in canon, where Izuku uses his power of One for All in his full transformation state to to pull all the villains together as Mineta throws his balls on his head to get all of them stuck together. as they go for the shore, we see that this we see the whole thing with Aizawa getting his arms broken after part of his other arm got decayed. Though there are a lot more villains than in canon. This is mostly because after everything happened with All for One finding Muscular and such, if you weren't paying attention to the description of the man in the cloak from the bar, once Muscular saw the news report, he remarked about this kid having the same kind of eyes as the guy who attacked him and turned him into this. So they took some precautions and got a lot more villains to overwhelm the students. This obviously didn't go so well with some of the other students that weren't like incredibly powerful. So yeah. Though as Izuku saw this, he grabbed Mineta and Sue in his full transformed state and used one for all to toss them. As he said, Sue, grab Mineta and get to the top of the stairs. As we see some of the villains heading up the stairs to attack some of the UA students. Oh, Ochako is actually using her vampire powers as well as her quirk to get rid of them. To hit them, make them float, and toss them. Ida did get out like he did in canon to head over to UA, though All Might doesn't have as much strength as he should due to the fact that he gave his quirk early to Izuku. So yeah. As then he blitzes towards the Nomu, punching it with all he has, full one for all in his full transform state. Though it did cause it to go back a bit, it didn't cause any permanent damage, which caught him off guard. But even more so when its body began to change, becoming wolf-like, but still keeping the open brain thing. Instantly, Izuku got pissed, punching the Nomu over and over again, and getting to the point to where he got close enough to the Nomu to use his teeth to rip out its throat with his bare teeth. When he saw it was starting to regenerate, he lunged his hand into the open cavity of its skull to rip out its brain and crush it. As then we see Shigaraki scratching continuously, stating, no, 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 as he is pissed, with Kurogiri stating that they need to retreat. We lost Nomu and our information on this kid wasn't complete. With Shigaraki stating, but Muscular said this kid had the same eyes, glowing eyes as the guy who attacked him to get this weird power. Oh, damn it. As he concedes to just go through the portal, leaving his lackeys. As then All Might burst through to take out a good number of the villains in the courtyard as Izuku joined in beating them up. Ochako was relieved, along with the other students that were helping her out defend 13, who was injured by Kurogiri. Though, when the teachers of UA got there and took care of the other villains, when they got all of the students together, they saw that a lot of them were a good bit more hurt, including Aizawa, to the point of being fatal. And Recovery Girl isn't here. They didn't bring her. Most importantly, they're in such a state that they couldn't transport them. And it would take too long for Recovery Girl to get here. Izuku looked at them and then looked at All Might, stating, "Did I do it?" This catches Hirosh. This catches Bakugo's e- ear and such as he yells, "Wait!" As he grabs Izuku, stating, "You can do something about this, can't you? I heard that. I heard you asked All Might you should do it. What is it?" As he looks at Kirishima, who got injured from being completely assaulted by a group of villains while he was with Bakugo. Izuku states, "Look, I can do something to help them, but I need their permission to do so first. It's going to change a lot about them." They were injured and dying, but they were still conscious and able to speak. The ones who were injured were Aizawa, Momo, Jiro, Denki, and Kirishima, and Anima. Or, Kota, I believe his name was. I mostly know him better from his hero name, Anima. The guy with the odd looking head who can tell animals what to do. They asked if it can save us. And yes, as he sighs. First starting with Aizawa, who had the most severe wounds. He bit into his neck and then clawed the forearm where his veins were, holding Aizawa's mouth open to drink his blood. And then continuing with the rest who were there injured, with the students and teachers yelling, "What are you doing?" He's stating, "It's fine. I They already know, like I said, this would cause a major difference in their lifestyle and such. But they chose this." As that he tells All Might to get ready, that they might have to knock some of them out, depending on what happened. All Might wasn't sure what was going to happen. He's seen this done with Ochako, and it turned out okay. As for the lineup of what they turned into, we see that Jiro, Momo, and Aizawa became vampires as their eye colors turned silver and grew fangs. They healed up rather quickly. They sat up, checking themselves for the wounds. As for the rest, which are Denki, Hiroshima, Anima, yeah, sorry. So, yeah, they ended up becoming a lichen. As they transformed and looked like they were about to go furious and such, Izuku and All Might blitzed them, punching them in the stomach to knock them out. As All Might stated, "That's what you meant, huh?" Izuku said, "Yeah, the first time could be kind of rough, especially if it isn't natural for them." Which then, once they got back there, Izuku had some explaining to do to his classmates and to the teachers. This ended up causing to where Izuku had to explain everything. The fact that he's actually a hybrid between vampire and lichen, which then we hear uh, some of the teachers asking, "What's a lichen?" Izuku states it's like an evolved form of werewolf that can transform and control themselves in their transformed state whenever they want instead of just a full moon. It probably changed even further at this point due to the evolution of quirks and such, so there is that. As then Midnight states, "Wait, does that mean Aizawa's a vampire now?" Because I would think she's one of those fangirls of vampires and such, with Aizawa stating, "Don't you dare." And then Ida thinking, wait a minute, what about, does that mean Ochako? because I know we're Quark Zero Gravity and such, and I remembered that thing at UA happening, but so that's how you survived. Ochako was nervous, stating, well, yeah, but, as then Ida said, those aren't actually, that's not actually tomato juice in those packs, is it? But they're being nervous and stating, no, not really. As then Nezu got a call stating someone was here to talk about lichens and vampires. This shocked him for a moment, as shown an old man, stating, oh, took me a while to find you. It made it easier given the fact of that stunt that happened with the sludge villain, though I had to narrow it down. I was hoping to deal with this, considering everything in a more private setting with you, young Izuku. But, given that it seems as though some people came out of the USJ from what I saw, or at least from what my men saw, in that came out paler than they did going in, especially with them messing with their mouths. With Jiro and Momo sighing for a little bit, as he states that he was a friend of his dad's. He wanted to do this in a less uh, out open kind of thing with all these people, but considering the attack and the fact that his people picked up on some chatter of that thing you took out turning into a creature with wolf-like aspects, it seems as though that wasn't really going to happen. As he introduces himself as Mr. Williams, stating that it was a bit of an alias of his, and that he actually is here to transfer his father's, well, everything of his father, his biological one, to Izuku, which he asked, what do you mean? He laughed, whispering to Izuku, stating that your father was the last lichen around when the vampire race became extinct, and he became the last lichen, remember? At least that's what I believe the letter or such should have told you. He states, you know about the letter and book? He shook his head yes, as he states that after everything that happened with the vampires and lichens going extinct, your father did a little legal maneuvering and captured all of their assets and such to help them live secretly a lot easier. Though, given the current state of things, it will also be useful in helping keep the secret and you all who have turned now well fed. As this was further discussed and such for our system, they were relieved, as they are, though Aizawa does seem a bit better. He feels like he doesn't need a lot of sleep anymore, at least for a while. As the man states that they can send them blood packs whenever they want. As for anything revealing this to your families or such, he'll leave that up to their decision. Which they did end up become nervous about revealing this to their parents. They figured that they should probably wait a bit longer until they can figure out a proper way to tell them. And even in their human states, the ones who became lichens are a good bit more physically powered. So they're not in the biggest of rushes. So yeah. After that, Izuku was bombarded with questions and such, as he answered the vampire's dietary needs as well as the lichens, stating that they now just kind of need to eat on a more of a meat diet, though they can still eat fruits and vegetables and all that as well. As they sighed, as he then remarks that though you will be prone to anger a bit easier in some cases, but then they sighed again. So, yeah. After all that, everything calmed down for a little bit until they asked about that thing, that Nomu thing that attacked them. It looked like a lichen version that it turned into. Izuku sighed, stating, yeah, besides you guys and me, there should only be one other that has the power. As he remarks about the guy that killed his father, most likely is the one responsible for giving the lichen transformation to that thing, as it's revealed to be muscular. All Might remarks that why didn't they send muscular along with them? Though this was a curious question, but at the end they just left. Back at the League of Villains, Shigaraki was complaining, yelling at Muscular, stating that we thought he was going. Ah, we didn't have all the information about that boy. Why was there so much information missing, Muscular? He stated after hearing about his transformation and such, saying that, it's possible he isn't exactly what that guy is. I didn't really think it was that interesting, considering it's boring to kill the same kind of prey twice, but if this kid is the way you say he is, then I'm sure he's gonna make even better prey than that other guy. As Shigaraki gets pissed, yelling, stating that if he came with them instead of just staying out of it, thinking it would be boring, then they could have killed them all and All Might. So All for One stops their squabbling, stating there's no benefit in complaining about what has already happened. They should focus on the plan for their next attack. Shigaraki, still pissed, with Muscular just smirking, not being able to contain himself for when they next time they attack. And this is where we'll be leaving it off. Though if you're curious about a couple of things, I will say that the guy who was a secret legal helper, he does know about all the vampire and everything, and the lichens and such, as well as their past. He did help run everything with his Izuku's biological dad's finances that he stole from the vampires and the lichens and such. So, yeah, he does know. It just took him a while to find Izuku and such, and to transfer the funds. He has people watching him, looking for the perfect time for them to talk, but after like I said, everything that happened with the USJ, he couldn't really leave it off, especially what he heard about the Nomu thing being turned into a wolf form through the police's communication devices, because they have resources to hack that stuff. They're like really good. So yeah, with all that taken care of, I do hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also remember to hit that notification bell. And happy Halloween. See you later, everybody.